So what's going down?
Dude, I'm still sick.
No,
Yo,
no way. You don't sound sick at all.
what's that sexy Phoebe voice?
Well, it's been a pretty rough week over here.
I'm sorry. I
We've
haven't
all
heard
been
much from you.
we've all been pretty sick. I'll be honest, I just feel like a spork in the silverware of life.
I feel that. When did you guys get the head cold that's going around too?
My wife's had it probably for about a week and a half now.
Yeah, I'm on 2 weeks. I feel her like all in the face, the head. God, and she's pregnant on top of it. Poor baby.
She's pretty much wiped out.
I couldn't
She
imagine.
It was funny. She was telling me that she was out and about today. She was getting some stuff. She was getting some stuff done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like, sickness be damned. I'm momming it up.
So she was out and about. She was like, "Oh wow, I had 2 hours and 30 minutes of fat burn, and my heart rate got up to 107." I was like, "I get up to 107 in my sleep."
Right. God, I'm so sorry I coughed right in your ear.
It's all right. It wasn't that loud.
Okay.
It wasn't too loud.
Did the kiddo get this sickness? I hope not.
She had it one like she had a runny nose for a few days, and then she had a day where she didn't move at all. And that's
Yeah.
when Mabel stops moving and talking constantly, that's when you take notice because
Mm-hmm.
there's danger lurking there. It's
You're like,
either
somebody's wrong.
danger for her or danger for somebody else if she's quiet. So so yeah, but she seems to be doing pretty well. She's still tired. Like today, we had a family date breakfast this morning.
Aw.
So we went and had it, and then I was like I don't feel good because I was supposed to work today. Um oh, actually I'm supposed to work every day, but I just like notified my boss and the other people I needed to notify. I'm not going to be working this morning, but I'll sign on in the afternoon. And then I went to bed. And this was probably 9. No, it was about 8. And then I ended up sleeping till like 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I still didn't feel good. So I kind of dragged my butt around and then finally got into work. And it was good I did because shit was going sideways.
Yeah, my kid got it. I think Sue gave it to us, and
Mm.
hers turned into a sinus infection.
Where did you get your child's name from?
Persephone?
Yes.
Greek mythology.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I,
Why?
s- I can read. Um, because in Greek mythology, Persephone is what basically responsible for the changing of seasons. For those of you who don't know, I just sound like a total fucking nerd right now.
You
I'm
do.
such a fucking nerd. Anyway, it occurred to me that she would be the biggest change that I would see in my life. And that sounded like a neat name. So
I have a friend that calls her daughter Lucifer.
that's so different from what I did.
And it now I'm so basically I saw that and I was like, wow, is that her middle name or first name? I was like, I know what you're saying.
No, that's why. There was
Okay.
more thought put in, probably more thought than was that. There was more thought put into her name than her creation. Can I just be on very like she was planned, but not real well.
I have no idea
No,
what that means at all. I plan to get trashed and this is was the result.
it was a little more thought out than that, but
Oh yeah.
yeah. So we have two more interviews and then you're going away for a
Actually,
couple
I think I
weeks.
can make the one on the 11th.
You can't.
I think I can with animal, sound animal.
Actually, hers are both of hers are going to be on the 18th. We're going to do them in one day.
Well, fancy pants.
And we're going to rock that shit out. I mean, you're welcome, but
Is that a Saturday?
uh-huh.
I'll need to see about that.
No,
What
no
time?
worries. Early in the fucking morning. So,
Early in. She's on the West Coast. That's right.
and these folks are in Europe.
Like buckshot, boo everywhere.
I'm just gonna get up and have coffee and a Pop Tart and chew silently, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's gonna be some cool interviews. So
I
I'm
didn't know
stoked.
that. I didn't know you changed your beverage habits based off of when you're doing the
Yes.
podcast. I figured it
Yes.
was always alcohol.
No, 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 no. Coffee in the morning, tea if you don't feel good, Theraflu in between, depending on where we are in life.
Just let me know when Dave is on.
This is connecting to audio.
Dave.
Live.
Dave.
Hello.
Hey.
So thank you for agreeing to do this against your better judgment. I appreciate that.
Funny. Yeah, no problem.
Let's just go ahead and go into this. Are you Canadian, and why don't you have an accent?
Well, let me tell you, let me get my toque on. I got to go get my toque and then we'll be good, eh? I'm not sure. I've had a few people tell me I sound like an American. I think I hang out with a lot of Americans or something. I'm not really sure. And you don't have an accent to me. Like, you're from Texas, and I expected, a little more twang.
Well, I say y'all sometimes.
Sometimes.
My y'all pokes out a lot.
A lot. It does.
Yeah, I get the odd y'all. I'll bring it out every once in a while and sprinkle it on. But, mostly I do A.
What part of Canada?
I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm actually very close to the border. I'm probably a 5-minute drive from Bellingham, Washington.
So basically, I've been checking out all your social media stuff, and for people that don't know, Dave is like dynamic. He's pretty much done everything that you can do, and we actually did a co-write once, and we may do it again. I don't know. He hasn't contacted me in so long that I kind of thought, he didn't like me or whatever. No. So Dave, you are like super dynamic. And one of the things that I thought was real interesting about you is you're an award-winning songwriter. You're like the greatest songwriter Canada has ever had. What does that feel like?
Well, it feels great. Let me just polish up my halo here and I'll tell you some more. I've been lucky and won a few awards and stuff, but far from being the greatest songwriter. That would probably be Leonard Cohen or maybe Gordon Lightfoot or
they're such hacks. Come on.
I'm a fan of some of the Canadian guys for sure.
So what have you gotten awards for? Because you've got more than one.
I have to think about it. I won BC Songwriting Magazine Award, where I got to go to some songwriting camps and had a gig at a big festival up north here. I've won an award for the Canadian Country Music Awards for up and coming songwriter.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so I got to what was nerve-wracking though? You win that, and so then you get to play a gig in front of 500 industry professionals and songwriters and musicians.
No pressure.
No pressure at all.
No pressure. It's fine.
Yeah. So that was an interesting, you know what? I'm at the point in my life I really don't care what people think. So I was just up there goofing off, inviting everybody to my gig at the local Legion, stuff.
Okay, cool. So the Country Music Award Rising Artist was probably your biggest deal, huh?
Yeah, I'd say so. People, I was surprised. I had people ask for my autograph, which was like, who me?
You're like, really?
Did they ask for your social security number too?
I think they were just trying to get my signatures because to get
credit,
get free tacos or whatever.
What song was that for that you got the award?
Ooh, geez. Oh, it was song. I don't think I sent it to you. It was called "Couldn't Let Go," and it's never been released officially. It's.
How did you get an award for a song that's never been released?
They asked for songs, and I submitted, that one, and it won. And I have no further explanation for that. I think to be honest, I was associated with some people who were, let's say, just connected. I was
mafia type people?
Yeah. One of my friends has had several top 10 hits in Canada country music. So I have a feeling he put a word in for me. Let's put it that way. I
So can
think.
so can you like name names? You're being so like so
Yeah.
mysterious.
I mean, it's all Canadian people, so some of them might know. There's a guy named Dan Swiminer who's one of the girls he's worked with is her name's Madeline Merlot. There's a guy up here named Jojo Mason. There's a guy with the number one song in Canada right now, TJ. His name's TJ. I knew him as a teenager. Anyway, he's written and produced with a lot of these guys.
That's
So a lot of
awesome.
people who've had hits in Canada. And he's also had cuts with Billy Currington.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a cut with Billy Currington.
So do you think that the Canadian music industry is different than the one here? Or does it run kind of the same?
I mean, I'm not super familiar with the US. Country music is a small world up here. Like I can go, it's like Nashville, Nashville's a small world. You can not hang out, but you can I've bumped into people in Nashville, but, what's his name? Vince Gill or a couple of others. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like that here. You can rub shoulders with, you can hang out with people who've had number one songs in Canada, Canadian guys. It's not hard to sort of hang out with them a little bit.
That's cool. I've never met anyone or hung out with anyone, so that's nice.
Who's the most famous person? I mean, these name drops, Billy, but the
okay.
most famous guy that I hung out with, I got to hang out with him for about an hour. Do you know who Tom Cochrane is? Life is a highway.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wrote that song, and I think did it Rascal Flatts covered it?
Yep.
They covered it in the 2000s, yeah, but didn't.
Yeah.
But it got released in the 90s.
Yeah, he originally wrote that song, and he had a big hit in the States called "Lunatic Fringe." Was a rock song. I don't know if it's "Lunatic Fringe." We all know you're out there. Interesting story about that song. He was recording it the night John Lennon got shot in New York City.
No way.
Lunatic Fringe. I know you're out there. Crazy story.
That is very cool.
I was at the Country Music Awards that year that I won the award, and I was hanging out in the lobby, and I saw Tom Cochrane. I said, "Hey, Tom, can I get a ride to the airport?" And he tried to shuffle me off. Well, it turns out that I was buddies with someone who used to play in a band with him a long time ago, and I just mentioned this guy's name. He said, "Come with us." So I got to ride to the airport with Tom Cochrane, hang out with him for an hour, and yeah, it was cool. I was a huge fan. Like I had all his albums. I knew the names of all his songs. So he was like, "Wow, you really are a fan."
So you were a dork and little overwhelming for him, huh?
You know what? I tried to stay quiet, and in the back, it was hard. It was really hard. I actually hung out with his wife quite a bit and chatted with him some. But yeah, I was kind of dorky. I admit it. I haven't lost that characteristic either.
So what made you start playing music in the first place?
As a kid, I remember sitting on the floor and my mom had the radio on all the time. I remember listening to classic country. My parents would party and they would have Johnny Cash on, the Orange Blossom Special and Loretta Lynn and the Beatles. My sisters had a Beatles fan club when I was a kid.
Oh, wow.
So like they even had a little clubhouse thingy and I got all my hand-me-down albums from I had tons of cousins and stuff. So I don't know, man. I just love music. There's something about a good song. It doesn't matter what genre it is. I just like a good song. It could be Celine Dion. It could be Metallica. It could be Taylor Swift. I just like a good song. And it wasn't like that when I was a teenager, of course. I was just wanting to listen to heavy and hard rock. But the older I got, I just like music and love singing. Was singing before I played the guitar. I learned the guitar a little bit later in life.
So let's go ahead and talk about one of your songs called "The Difference." When I first kicked it on, out of the songs you sent us, this is probably the most. I wouldn't say the most serious, but it was probably a deep, philosophical kind of.
Yeah.
It had a nice old country feel.
The old school sound.
Really, really old school. Yeah, I did that on purpose for sure. Yeah.
Was it your idea to add the steel guitar at the intro?
It was all my idea.
Yeah.
I did not play that steel. I had a guy that was just so good at it that I said, "You play it, dude."
The other thing I noticed was you highlighted the piano just before the final chorus, and I thought that was really tasteful because it wasn't up front. It
Yeah.
was like really back in the background, and then you brought it up, and that really embellished the song for me.
I tried to make it the whole tune. I gotta put my influences out there. Don Williams.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Some broken hearts never mend. That was kind of one of the influences of the song. I wanted to just be laid back. I don't really write laid back songs like that. This one was there, but I wanted to be laid back. And that song was dedicated to a friend of mine, and he's older. He's like 86 or 87, just one of the greatest guys I've ever met. And I knew that he would appreciate all those sounds, so I specifically made it that way for him. Really, that's what I did.
That's kind of sweet. Don't worry. We'll delete this part of the podcast.
No, it is really sweet. What is it about?
It's about a friend of mine who's just a really big influence on my life. He's the type of guy where you walk into his house and he will compliment you and tell you how great you are from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave. And it's just it's flustering almost, but this is the type of person he is. It's rare. It's really rare.
Working man, leather hands, character face like a road map. That soft look in your eyes. You were quick to laugh, quick to smile. You made a difference in my life, knowing you were always on my side. I'm gonna miss you when you're gone. It's gonna be hard to carry on, but I'll keep shining your light. You made a difference in my life. Coffee cup, coffee table, it's where you taught me how to be humble. When you cried, I cried too. There was never a better man than you. You made a difference in my life, knowing you were always on my side. I'm gonna miss you when you're gone. It's gonna be hard to carry on, but I'll keep shining your light. You made a difference in my life. You made a difference in my life, knowing you were always on my side. I'm gonna miss you when you're gone. It's gonna be hard to carry on, but I'll keep shining your light. Made a difference in my life.
So you said guitar came along later for you. When did you start playing?
I didn't actually start playing till I was like early 20s. It was weird. It was the weirdest thing. Like when I was younger, I would be at a party and, lubricated from alcohol, and I'd be singing away the top of my lungs, too much to the annoyance of everyone. And I don't know, my early 20s, the funniest thing happened. I swear to God. I woke up one morning, I just shot up out of bed and said, I'm going to play the guitar. And
that was it.
I just bought a guitar and learned how to play it.
Liking music, learning to play the guitar, and being a songwriter. Those are all three different things.
Yeah.
So tell me about the progression from you told how you moved from a listener to a player, but how did you get from being a player to a songwriter, an award-winning songwriter, the greatest songwriter in Canada's history?
Yeah, send me the check.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like I've had something to say. I'm a bit of I meditate on things, not like, but I've always got something rolling around in my brain. If I hear something that's rolling around in my brain all the time. And my first songs, like when I don't know, what I did was early in my guitar playing life, I bought a Beatles book and I wrote down every song, every lyric, and every chord. So after a while, I got to go, oh, A goes with D. Oh, D goes with E. Oh, F sharp minor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Wrote down every lyric and every chord on top of there by hand. This is before you could go on the internet and just punch it in and get it. I wrote it out by hand. So that's kind of where I got my chops from a little bit, I think. And I've always felt like I got stuff to say.
It seems like you're kind of analytical to me.
Okay.
You're process oriented. Because you just said, oh, well, I wrote down the lyrics and I wrote down the chord progressions over the lyrics, and that was how I was able to. It's almost you're really analytical when it comes to that. It's like a puzzle. It seems like. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, it can be with songwriting. You know what they say, right? Learn the rules, then break them. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the idea. It's just to absorb it all and then let it all go, and then let it all come out naturally. Like this song I wrote, The Difference. It's a 3-chord song. That's what it was called for. I didn't need to put anything else in it. So
let's talk about another song. Let's talk about Hey There Trainwreck.
Yeah.
That's my favorite song. That is my favorite.
By the way, that is the best title.
Yeah. Hey there, Trainwreck. This ain't your station. Yeah, I love that song.
So I knew that it sounds like a duet with another dude.
Yes, I know. Weird, eh? Another dude in another country.
Was that planned?
At the time we were going to put together a duo. You know how these things happen. You do all these planning and with other people in music, and sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, we were planning on a duo. We thought, well, this is our first song. I've got fans. The other fellow is Paul DeMarco, who's just like super fabulous.
I thought that voice sounded familiar.
Yeah, he's so super fabulously talented, this guy. And I can't even believe he's writing with me. But anyway, we thought he has fans, I have fans. It would be good if both our voices were on it. It was more strategic than anything.
So what's the song about?
Hey there, Trainwreck. This ain't your station.
I just wanted you to say it again because
you're
so
like
good.
A rubber check on a low budget vacation.
So good.
That was my favorite line of that song. It wasn't nice to know you since the moment we met.
That's so great.
That is awesome. That's kind of mean though, dude. You're Canadian. You're supposed to be nice.
It is pretty mean. I wrote the verse. I had that verse for 10 years at least.
Oh, wow.
The one about the verse, I think you're a drama queen, a little part in every human being, but you got it a little bit worse. I can tell by the size of your purse. That's kind of mean, I know. It just seemed to, I had the drama queen part and started writing with Paul, and then I just threw that in there. And
So you had this and you just kind of threw it out. Did you have the melody in mind when you threw it out, or did you just throw words at Paul?
I think I had some of the melody. I mean, to me, that just is classic. Hey there, Trainwreck. This ain't your station. Just rolls off the tongue. I think I had some of the melody, but Paul, when I'm writing with Paul, he's so good at it. I just let him do it. every writing situation is different, but with Paul, I let him do a lot of that stuff. With other people that I write with, I might take over more of that.
I was going to ask you how you did co-writing. Never mind.
Well, it comes in all shapes and sizes and forms. Sometimes people show up with a track, and you know what? I've found over the years that my strongest point is actually my ideas. Like, so that was my idea, Trainwreck. So I try to go with my strengths, but I also see myself as a team player. Like I always say, the song is king. It doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter. The song is king. We try to, the people that I wrote with best, they try to put their egos aside and do whatever's best for this song.
Hey there, train wreck, this ain't your station. Hey there, train wreck, this ain't your station. You're like a rubber check on a low budget vacation. Yeah, it wasn't nice to know you from the moment we met. So here's to staying strangers living without regret. Train wreck, this ain't your station. I think you're a drama queen, a little more than every human being. But you got it a little bit worse. I can tell by the size of your purse. Train wreck, this ain't your station. You're like a rubber check on a low budget vacation. Yeah. It wasn't nice to know you from the moment we met. So here's to staying strangers living without regret. Train wreck, this ain't your station. Here we go. Don't hear a little whistle, I ain't going off the rails. The orange blossom specials left you minutes trail. Hey, train wreck, this ain't your station. No. You're like a rubber check on a low budget vacation. Yeah. It wasn't nice to know you from the moment we met. So here's to staying strangers living without regret. Train wreck, this ain't your station. That's right. Hey, train wreck, we're pulling out now. This ain't your station. All aboard. Hey, train wreck, except for you. This ain't your station.
What's your writing process like when you're writing solo?
Oh, well, that's interesting. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like I'll say to my wife, you know what? I feel a song coming. There's a song coming on. I can feel it. It's kind of like having to sneeze or something. That's here it comes, here it comes. Yeah, I'll just sit down with a guitar and it comes out, and I'll rewrite it and I'll, but initially I try not to stop it and just let it flow, and then maybe go back and like this song, The Difference. The opening line was "Working man, leather hands," and I had a different line, and it wasn't very complimentary. I think it was like "old and worn, wrinkled hands" or something. That's what I wrote. And I thought, oh, well, this is not going to work. That first line I changed to try to make it a little more complimentary to the fellow I was playing it for. So.
Cool. So has he heard the song that you wrote for him?
Yeah, he loves it. He cries when he hears it.
Aww.
Yeah, he's a crier. He's an unabashed crier. Yeah, he wasn't a wimp either. He's a tough guy. You can tell by looking at him. His nose has been popped a few times.
Very cool. Very cool. So what else are you doing? I know that. So basically, you're also a producer.
Yes.
And you're a guitar player. Do you play any other instruments?
Well, bass. Played a lot of bass. I'm actually you can't see it, but I got a keyboard right in front of me here. Play a little bit of that. I got Hammond organ sounds on this thing. So Paul's songs, I probably played on 5 or 6 songs of his or ours. I played some Hammond organ on that. Oh, a little bit of mandolin. That's about it.
Well, that's a lot. That's plenty.
Yeah, I can keep a beat on a drum, on a drum kit. If nobody can play the drums, put me on and I'll be good for a couple of songs. And then you'll be like, okay, let's get someone else. We heard that already. Okay, time to move on.
It's funny how a rhythm can make a difference in a song, because a lot of times you can write a song and have it ready to go, and then when you pretty much kind of know what's going to happen when you introduce the guitarist and the bass player, but then when you put in the drummer, that can totally rearrange your song, especially if you do it in a live setting. That's what I've noticed.
Absolutely. One of my dreams, and I actually had this happen, well, close to it. One of my dreams is to have the whole band in the room and record that. You know what I mean? Everybody's on headphones and just jamming it out. Yeah. And
nice. That'd be cool.
This last couple of years ago, I went out to a guy had a studio on his farm, and we did that with a bass player and the drummer. And I tell you, the tracks turned out excellent. You could totally tell that groove feel between the bass player and the drummer just laid a solid foundation. It was awesome.
Did y'all play to a click track when y'all did it?
Sometimes we did, and sometimes we didn't. It's hard when you've got to edit and not have a click track. We would sometimes shut off the click in the middle of the song and just let it go from there. Yeah.
Well, that sounds terrifying to me to do something live. I mean, yeah. I play shows live, but to actually try to do something that I'm going to try to sell and market live, I find that terrifying, especially vocal wise, because I like to craft my vocals. What about you? How do you manage your vocals when you do them?
Yeah, that's a good question. We didn't actually use those vocals when I was doing it live because I sucked that day. And that happens with vocals, right? I have to really work on my vocals. I will sing quite a bit. If I know I've got a vocal session, I will sing quite a bit. I'll do warm-ups and I'll try to find some sort of expressive song and that I really know well, and I'll sing it along at the top of my lungs. And yeah, vocals are most vocalists I know do not like the sound of their own voice. And we hear every little crack and every little inflection, and super analytical of my own vocals. Actually, last 2 songs I recorded, I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't record myself. I had to go to a buddy's place and just record it with him just to get out of my head, and because I felt like everything I was doing sucked.
Yeah, I can understand that, because I know that when I recorded, I rely on I'll do all the instrumentation, and then I will go to someone to help me with vocals, just because it's the vocals are like so far out there if you're writing that kind of song, and it needs to be good, because if it's bad, no one's going to hear what you have to say, because they're just going to be like, that dude sucks. So I think it's good to have someone to bounce something off if you're not Celine Dion or Steve Perry or Paul DeMarco, that bastard. But
yeah, he rips them off. He just rips the vocals out. If you look back on all the great songs and all the recordings, it's not just some guy sitting in a cave somewhere. He's got a team. He's got people helping him. Adele doesn't just come up with that stuff.
Good Lord, her voice though.
What was it like when you heard your first song that you've written come out of your head and onto a cassette or CD or something? What was that like?
That was so fabulous, man. That was awesome. And you guys probably know the feeling. This was back when I was getting CDs printed, and I was on my way to the place that was doing the CD replication, and I swear to God, there was a triple rainbow that day. Not a single, not a double, but a triple rainbow that day. I thought, wow, this is cool, man. And I remember picking up the CDs and I put it in my CD player in the truck and just bawling like a little kid, you know, hearing it come out of the speakers. Funny story. One of the first times I have a song called Bobby Orr. It's one of my old ones. And the first time I was playing it, one of the first times I was playing, I was driving down the freeway and I happened to have a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts in the front seat. Well, I'm all excited. I'm hearing my first song. It's this song on my CD player, and I'm speeding. So, of course, I get pulled over
With Krispy Kremes?
with Krispy Kreme donuts in the front. And
Yes.
I've got a big mouth. Yeah, I've got a big mouth. And, you know, the jokes had to come out and stuff. I offered him a Krispy Kreme. He didn't take it. And I did not get up for the speeding ticket.
Damn it. I was really hoping you did.
Yeah. So you said when you heard it, you cried. Can we talk about like the same thing happened to me when I heard like my first song?
Yeah.
Because it blew me away. And for me, it was when I was playing it by myself. I could barely play when I recorded my first song. I wasn't a good singer, but everything I was hearing in my head, I was able to hear, you know, because you can't do your backup vocals while you're singing by yourself. You can't do the drums while you're playing your guitar. So what was it for you that just got you real emotional?
Well, I think, you know, I had been writing songs for a long time. And you know, I had well-meaning friends who said, Dave, these songs are great. We got to record them. Well, you know, it's your buddy and you go to try to record it and it never really happens. It just never really came together. They had good intentions and everything, but I mean, they had kids and families and stuff. And it wasn't until I actually found a guy that I paid, that was his job, to record my songs. So this was a long process, many years of sort of trying and failing to record on my own and building computers and all this crap. And then finally getting to a guy who knew what he was doing, getting the songs together, mixing them. And yeah, so it was a long process for sure.
So for you, it was like crossing the finish line of a marathon or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was. Yeah. And just a dream. I mean, you know, sometimes I don't think we know what we have in our hands. Like if you've got someone coming to you and they want to record a song and they're kind of new, they never recorded a song, and you get that song recorded for them and it makes it sound decent. And it's like the realization of a dream, and that's powerful, man. And so that's what it was like for me. I was realizing a dream and it was just very powerful.
So as far as recording, what, you know, when you have a business, and that's basically what you are. So you're kind of in the music bar business when you first start out because you're a live musician. So your job is to get people in there and get them to have a good time. But a lot of times people don't see the process of your evolution as far as deciding what you want to do with the songs when you're in the studio. You know, how did you go about increasing the quality of your music? You talked a little bit about that. You know, I had friends do it and it was just kind of okay. And then I paid someone to do it. What was that process like? Because your stuff now is like air. You could hear it on the radio, you know, quality. It's competitive with other people's stuff. So how hard was it to get from that get to that place, I guess is what I'm asking, and what all went into it?
Well, I'd have to say the biggest part of it is going to Nashville and getting your ass kicked, getting your ass handed to you, man. Like when you go down there, you walk in the bar, the guitar players are smoking, best guitar player you ever seen in your life. You know, you go walk through the airport, the guy's singing in the lounge, it's like, oh, that guy's got pipes, man. So going down there and hanging out and going, you know what, I got to step up my game. And just having professionals listen to my songs and say, you know, Dave, this, you know, you got to do this better and you got to do this better. And you know what? It broke my heart, man. I remember the first time I went down to Nashville, I came home like a dog with his tail between his legs. I couldn't write for about a year. My buddy who I used to hang out with said, Dave, you've forgotten how awesome you are. You know, I was just, a lot of people quit, but I don't know. I just kept on and started learning, getting out of myself, you know. writing songs and making it not about me and my ego, making it about what's best for this song. So there's a process there for sure, man.
Let's talk about the last song you sent us, the one that's on your shirt.
Oh, Rolly Coon.
Yes. I have to say, I love the guitar in that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
very
some nice slide guitar in that song. Really cool.
I thought the vocals on this song were like really awesome. I mean, because the vocals are kind of haunting at the same time. And this song, you know, my next question is going to be, well, who are we talking about? Who is this Rolly Coon? You know, but I thought the vocals were real haunting, and he held the notes long, you know, when he was singing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
That song, Rolly Coon, is my uncle. And I don't want to get too much of a sad story, but he ended up being killed in back in the day. And
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, in the 80s. But anyway, it was somebody wrote me a note and said, Dave, I love that song. It's a musical epitaph, is what it is. So it's a tribute to my uncle who grew up hard times. And you know, the reason why those vocals are like that is because I felt it. I sang it and I felt it and I meant it. So yeah, that's why those vocals are like that. The song, like a lot of songs I've written, it started off, maybe the lyrics weren't as good as they are now. I played it for people. I played it for music industry professionals. And they gave me some suggestions and I changed it up. The song actually came about. There's a lady named Mary Gaucher. I don't know if you know this name, Mary Gaucher. She's the songwriter. She's had cuts with Blake Shelton and I can't remember who else. Anyway, she had written a song about a hobo. I was at a songwriting camp where she was, and she'd written a song about a hobo, and I'm kind of like, well, I got an uncle who was kind of a hobo. And so that was the sort of the seeds of how that song was written. And a lot of the music, I came up with the riffs, and a lot of the music influences, again, there's a band from Canada called the Tragically Hip.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the music sort of, that's kind of the influence of that song.
Late Sunday night, John Doe, blank tag on his right toe. I told them you could write his name, Rolly Coon. Born on cold prairie ground, depression coming bar with a few tall boys and a whiskey chaser. And it's 15 to 15 for best grid player in 64. 15 to 15 for funny how life keeps the score. Some people check out too soon, and I miss you. Hey, rolling cool. Late Sunday night, John Doe. Blank tag on his right toe. I told them you could write his name. Rolling cool, rolling cool, rolling cool.
So where can my listeners find you?
Well, I'm all over Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Spotify. It would be the biggest place to find me. Dave. My last name is spelled funny. I don't know what to do about it, but Dave
I mean-
Stanley Daoust. Daoust. That's a French Canadian name right there.
Do you have any upcoming shows? Are you playing out anywhere?
You know what? I don't know anybody with any upcoming shows right now up here.
Yeah.
We're still kind of masks and sanitizers and all the rest of it. We're not too bad up here, but yeah, couldn't play a show if you broke in.
So how's that? As far as your income goes, is your live performance more income, or is your producing more income, or are your streams more income? How are you surviving? Basically, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Well, my mother-in-law passed away.
Oh,
That's the
sorry.
long and short of it. My
I'm
mother-in-law
sorry.
it was years ago she passed away, and she left us a little tiny bit of money. And then we bought a house, and then all of a sudden, housing market went kaboomy. So I sold it, and I'm living off that right now.
I'm glad that you had that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, it was cool. She was a hard-working lady, and yeah, we're still benefiting from that. So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty, and I bet she's real happy with that too, probably knowing that,
Yeah.
hey, I passed, and now, Dave and his family are able to do this because of all my hard work. I think that's what any of us want when we pass.
Sure.
For sure.
We want to leave something behind other than our debt, and we want to make our kids and family members that we love, we want to make their lives easier. The ones we don't, anything, whatever. Sorry, that was dark. But
No, but especially like as a parent, that's very, very accurate. Our jobs is to make it easier for them, not fucking keep them in the same cycle of horror.
For sure. Yeah. That's all part of it, man. For sure.
So, Dave, what advice would you give an up and coming songwriter?
I would say that you have to build up your songwriting scab. That's gross, isn't it?
It sounds disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really gross. But you know what? Got to be able to listen to constructive criticism, not mean stuff, but people that are well-meaning that are saying, hey, look, man, the song's just not cutting it, dude. And you want to run with the big dogs, you better bring it up a notch. So you got to be able to take that stuff and not take it personal. And it's the hardest thing ever. And be able to process it and move on. And, the thing about songwriting is keep writing. The songs get better. I'm sure you guys can attest.
I've never
Red
been,
can.
I've never been told that, but yeah, that's what I'd like to do. I was gonna ask, you have memberships with certain songwriting entities. Is there one in specific that you would like to talk about where you put a lot of your work in and you've actually benefited from being part of that songwriting group?
Yeah, Songtown. With the world of the internet, you can join some sort of club every second day and give them your money. I've been a member of different different ones, and the one that just seemed to hold up the best is Songtown for me. Other people have other opinions. I like Songtown. I've known those guys for a long time. They've actually slept in my basement when there was no hotels in Vancouver one weekend, and I put them up.
Holy cow! So what is Songtown?
Songtown is created by a guy named Marty Dodson and Clay Mills, and they both have had, like, Marty's had #1 hits with Billy Currington and other bands. I can't remember all this. And Clay has had hits with Darius Rucker and Diamond Rio. They're hit writers, and they tell it like it is. That's their thing. They're not trying to sugarcoat it. They tell you if your song sucks, they're going to tell you. So that's what I appreciate about them.
So how long does that take for them to tell you that your song sucks? Like 10 seconds, or what's that process like? Because I'm guessing that now, because you're part of that group, you get feedback on what you do. And so can you talk a little bit about how they help you with that process, and then how do you use that to do something better?
Yeah, that's a long process. So first of all, I've been with them live in songwriting camps, where you're hanging out with them all day, having breakfast with them and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And they don't actually tell you your song sucks. They don't actually use those words, but they'll tell you what you need to work on. And, as an artist, I'm like, sometimes you take it the wrong way, and it sounded like they said it sucked. But yeah, it's a really long process, man. You just have to write songs and write songs and write songs, and sooner or later you're going to hit one, and they're going to go, yeah, that's it, man. I'll write songs until I can't hold the pen up anymore. Going to keep writing, going to keep playing. I like people, hanging out with people. The best part of songwriting with others is not the songs. It's the relationships you develop with the people that you're writing with. That's the really cool thing. And yeah, the side benefit is we get these great songs. We have laughs. We laugh, we cry, we get to know each other's lives. It's pretty cool, man.
It is. It's fun. It's fun to do that. I appreciate you taking this time to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Sound Pollution this week with Dave Daoust, the award-winning songwriter. We want to thank him again for taking time out of his day to be on the show. We appreciate you. Also, make sure you're clicking those links below to show this artist some love. Click those links below to show Uncle Brent some love. And last but not least, the state that I am in was hit this week with some pretty severe weather, including tornadoes that ripped apart towns in western Kentucky. Sound pollution is safe. However, a lot of people were affected by this, and a lot of loss is still being felt. There is a link below, a Facebook link to donate to help the families affected by the severe weather. If you have the means to do so, please donate. It would be appreciated. And remember to get out there, make some noise.